Good Tuesday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over downtown Macon. The time's now 6:30 a.m. here on this November the 29th. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. I'm Wanye Reese.
And I'm Caitlin Heck. A chilly start to the day actually feels a little bit like November, at least for now.
Exactly. Alex, how's things going to be looking today?
Yeah, just give it a matter of 6 or 7 hours. By the noon hour, we're going to be close to 70 degrees. A big temperature swing in store for Central Georgia today. 30 plus degrees in terms of that swing. Sitting at 39 right now in Monticello, 40 here in Macon, 41 in Warner Robins, 41 in Dublin, and waking up to 46 in Vidalia this morning. And really, for the most part, not looking at any rain. Certainly not across Central Georgia, but not really across the southeast either this morning, even though we do have a level 4 severe weather day setting up. Parts of Mississippi extending back into Louisiana, a level 3 elsewhere through Arkansas up into southern Tennessee. This is ahead of a cold front that's going to move through this region today and then towards Central Georgia through the overnight hours tonight, bringing with it a storm risk for us tomorrow morning. But before we get there today, temperatures warming into the 70s, average high is 65. I think we get up to 73 before all is said and done. But clouds will be on the increase and overnight storms are likely across Central Georgia. Along with that comes a small severe weather threat. We'll be talking about the hour-by-hour forecast with a look at future view and the specifics on the severe weather threats here in just a few moments.
Thank you, Alex. This morning, Macon-Bibb's Hospital Authority says it will not ask the county for a cut of tax revenue to help pay for care for people who can't afford it.
Last week, our partners at Mercer Center for Collaborative Journalism reported it seemed like the authority was ready to make the proposal to the county commission. But yesterday, Macon-Bibb Hospital Authority sent us a statement saying they never plan to ask the county for more money. Instead, they say it was just an idea brought up at a regular meeting. Macon-Bibb County helped cover the cost of indigent patients for years, but those payments dwindled until last year when they finally stopped. We asked Mayor Lester Miller about the discussion in a recent episode of Central Georgia Focus. He says the hospital authority gets a huge break already since they don't pay property taxes.
Certainly we're supporters of theirs. You mentioned earlier that they don't pay taxes on any of their properties. Certainly they possess a lot of properties in Macon-Bibb County, and I think that's a break they get.
Now, even though the hospital authority says they don't plan to ask for any money right now, they could still do so, though, in the future.
Georgia law does allow local governments to put a certain percentage of property tax money toward funding nonprofit hospitals. 6:33 early voting for the December runoff continues all this week. Let's take a look at the voting locations and hours for you. In Bibb County, you can cast a ballot any day this week through Friday. The county's polls are open 8:30 to 5:30 each day. You can vote at the Board of Elections on Pionona Avenue or the Theranussery Rec Center on North Macon Park Drive. In Houston County, you have 4 early voting locations to choose from: the Board of Elections in Perry, as well as the Houston Health Pavilion, the Central Georgia Technical College, and the North Houston Sports Complex, all those 3 in Warner Robins. All locations are open the rest of the week from 8 to 5. However, Central Georgia Tech expanded hours for today, tomorrow, and Thursday, so on those days you can vote until 7.
6:33, one Central Georgia County election supervisor responded to criticism about not having Saturday voting. Audrina Ray says Saturday voting just wasn't possible.
We had due dates, so technically we could not get ready by Saturday to complete that, and if I'm working by myself.
Ray says she's the only full-time employee for the board and she just couldn't run Saturday voting on her own. This week she has about 5 part-timers who are helping out. For more information on the runoffs, find our Georgia 2022 runoff election guide. It's live right now on our website at 13wmaz.com. We can also send that guide straight to your phone. Just text the word VOTE to 478-752-1309.
Next Tuesday night, we will follow the runoff races closely, from Milledgeville City Council race to the Macon Water Authority seat. Of course, the race for who represents Georgia in the U.S. Senate. Molly Jett will report from Senator Raphael Warnock's camp. Anthony Montalto will be at Herschel Walker's. We'll also have analysis. Ashlyn Webb will use our election tracker to see where the votes are coming from in Georgia and in our area. And UGA political science professor Charles Bullock will join us in studio to bring some context to the trends that we're seeing. So make sure you join us Tuesday, December 6th, starting at 5 p.m. right here on 13 WMAZ, and we'll be your source for your election results.
We're coming up on 6:35 on your Tuesday morning. Right now, a man wanted for murder in North Carolina sits in a Jones County jail. The Jones County Sheriff's Office says a call came in yesterday morning about a car stolen out of North Carolina heading into Jones County from Baldwin County. The driver, Taquan Darden, was wanted for armed robbery and murder. A deputy found Darden on Highway 49 in the stolen car. He arrested him and took him to the Jones County Jail, where Darden awaits extradition to North Carolina. Fort Valley police made an arrest in a shooting case at an apartment complex. The department says a call came in around 3 p.m. yesterday about two men shooting at each other at the Indian Oaks apartment complex. The department says that Ricky Collier Jr. faces charges of aggravated assault, cruelty to children, and criminal trespass.
Well, we now know the name of a man killed when his pickup truck ran off a Baldwin County road. State troopers say it happened Sunday night on Deep Step Road. They say 64-year-old William Duncan lost control and hit a tree, killing him. An ambulance flew the woman riding with him into a hospital with serious injuries. And we now know the name of the motorcyclist who died after a crash in Twiggs County. Coroner Harold Reese says 27-year-old James Graham of Chauncey died after crashing into a tractor trailer. Sheriff Darren Mitchum says they believe Graham ran under the trailer as it turned onto a highway after exiting I-16. The sheriff says a specialized team from Georgia State Patrol is working to investigate the accident. And we have more information on a story that we first brought you back in October about an auto shop owner accused of scamming customers. Right now, Warner Robins police say they arrested owner Randall Simmons on 6 theft charges. Houston County jail records show Simmons was arrested last Monday. He was released 2 days later on $18,000 bond. The Better Business Bureau told us last month they got several complaints that Simmons took customers' money in advance, held their cars for months, but never actually finished the repairs. Jail records say the 6 theft by conversion charges happened between June of 2021 and this past August. We called Simmons' Houston Automotive and Transmission Center, but could not reach him for a comment.
We're coming up on 6:37. Let's get a check of your state news. A man who made threats to 2 different LGBTQ bars in Atlanta last week now sits in jail.
When I first heard about it, I 100% thought it was something not to be taken lightly, especially after Club Q, what just happened with them. Everyone's walking on eggshells right now. It's a little nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie.
Atlanta police identified the man as Chase Stobbs. You see him there. Police say he showed up to one bar believed that caters to the gay community. Officers arrested him at his home and booked him into jail on Friday. In West Georgia, an Amtrak chain hit a FedEx truck, killing the delivery driver. The train was headed to New Orleans when the crash happened. If you take a look at your screen, you can see the debris from the truck near Highway 78. That's about 75 miles west of Atlanta. Witnesses told state troopers the FedEx truck rolled through a stop sign. 55 passengers and crew were on the train, but nobody got hurt. Now to a sad update to a story we've been following for quite some time. The FBI confirmed the bones found in a Georgia landfill belonged to a toddler reported missing last month. The agency said yesterday they used DNA analysis to confirm the bones belonged to 20-month-old Quentin Simon. A week ago, Chatham County police say that they arrested 22-year-old Leilani Simon, that's Quentin's mother. She faces a list of charges, including malice murder and concealing the death of another. Simon called police in early October to report the little boy missing from their home just outside of Savannah.
All right, 6:38 in other news. Bibb School Superintendent Dan Sims will host 6 meetings this week to interact with parents on a variety of issues. The next one is tomorrow at 6 at Central High. They had their first last night at Howard High School on Forsyth Road. Sims says he came up with the idea for these community engagement sessions to let parents listen, offer feedback, and be more involved in their child's learning. All right, 6:38 for those kids headed to the bus stop this morning. It's all about layers today because it's cool right now.
Definitely. Yesterday was a morning where you could maybe get away with not having a jacket, but you definitely need a jacket and a hat this morning, Alex.
Yeah, for the most part, temperatures in the 40s, sprinkling in a few 30s as well. But then, as Caitlin was alluding to, this afternoon, right back to the mid-70s. So it's not, you're not going to need the jacket all day long. There's a look at downtown this morning. You can see the sun beginning to come up in the distance. 40, the current number in Macon, 41 in Warner Robins, 41 in Dublin, and 42 in Milledgeville. I suspect these numbers will drop a few more degrees before all is said and done. 45 in Thomaston, 43 in Cordele, 42 in Montezuma, and 41 to get your morning started in Wilkinson County. Across the southeast, we are quiet for the most part in terms of cloud cover, in terms of rainfall, but as we head into the day today, that is not going to remain the case. You can see the beginnings of a system starting to get its act together back down into Texas, Louisiana. That is ahead of a level 4 severe weather day. Parts of Mississippi back into Louisiana, a level 3 from Texas up through southern Tennessee back down into western Alabama. Going to watch this through the afternoon hours because this is the same storm system that's going to come towards central Georgia through the overnight hours. But our threat nowhere close to that level 4 that they're going to experience in parts of the Magnolia State today. So let's map out the details here on Future View. In central Georgia today, partly cloudy skies to round the day out, otherwise clear across the area. There's the severe weather that will be ongoing parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. That will roll towards the east through the overnight hours. Here we are at 1 a.m. Still mostly dry across central Georgia, but this is when the line of storms is going to begin to move in 1 to 2 a.m. moving south through the morning hours. Here we are at 6 a.m. Not making it all that far south quickly, but then once we get into the morning hours, it will begin to book it through central Georgia. Main threat for damaging winds tomorrow morning, but then tomorrow afternoon, we, for the most part, are clear across the area as soon as that main line of storms comes through. So you compare what they're going to see in Mississippi today to what we're expecting tomorrow morning, talking about a level 1 risk here in central Georgia, the threat of damaging winds and heavy rainfall. The weak tornado threat, I think, is going to be confined to the southwest, and the Storm Prediction Center in good agreement with that as well. You can see the edge of that really from the Columbus area back into Alabama, not including any part of central Georgia. The timing on that would also be about 4 to 9 a.m. One thing that I am going to be watching for in the morning hours, the amount of rain we're going to see. Generally speaking, 1 to 2 inches, I think, is what we should expect. Maybe locally higher amounts to the north. This model has been going back and forth on whether or not we get over that 2-inch mark. The most recent runs of it are showing it, yes, certainly to the north, but not sold on it just quite yet. Today, look for a high temperature of 73, becoming warmer. Clouds will be on the increase through the afternoon hours. Sunrise is at 7:17. And if you're thinking about putting up the Christmas lights over the next few days, today, a great day to do it. Tomorrow, not so much, especially during the morning hours. But then for Thursday, it's going to be cooler, but also windy on Thursday. So maybe not a great day to be on a ladder. A 90% chance of rain, of storms tomorrow morning. And then by the time we get to December, yeah, that comes on Thursday. A high temperature of 59 after an overnight low of 35. Then a steady warming trend into the weekend. A 10% chance of rain Saturday, 20% Sunday with highs in the 70s.